This is the 32nd minute of the Southampton vs Leeds United match. The legend of the Saints, Matt Le Tissier, is injured. Southampton's squad is at the lower limit with the number of players. Coach Graham Souness looks at the bench and sends Ali Dia on the field. A 31-year-old Senegalese, unknown to the public, who arrived at the club only a week ago. It was his first match in the Premier League, the match that will go down in the history forever. Not because Ali Dia played memorably, but on the contrary. On that day, the Senegalese was awarded the titles of the worst player or the biggest charlatan in the Premier League history. Later, it was discovered that the CV that Dia had presented, where he said that played for Bologna, Paris Saint-Germain or Senegal, was a simple fantasy. Le Tissier perfectly described Ali's performance in this match. It was unbelievable. He ran around the pitch like Bambi on ice. But how the hell did the Senegalese manage to fool everyone and end up playing an official Premier League match? Here's all about it. This is the second video in the series with the most famous scammers in the history of football. If you haven't seen the first video about Carlos Kaiser, I invite you to do so, but after you see this one, I promise you that both are worth it. Today's protagonist is probably the biggest scammer in the history of European football. It wouldn't hurt to tap the like button or even subscribe if you like what I do. Let's start. Ali, written with Y or written with I, is supposed to have been born in Dakar, Senegal on August 20th, 1965. Arriving in France for studies in the mid-1980s, the African played for various regional teams in the lower leagues. His Wikipedia page says that he played as a striker between 1988 and 1994 for various French clubs: Bavot, Dijon, La Rochelle, Saint-Quentin and Chateaubriand. The only club that confirmed he played for them is Chateaubriand, thus he played in the 5th tier of French football. Not the highest level, but Dia was a semi-professional footballer. At that time in Europe, African players were beginning to appear and impose themselves in the big championships. Thus, he managed to get a new contract, but this time in Finland. In 1995, Ali joined Finpa, a Helsinki-based club. They were a team from the Finnish First League, which meant a step forward for the Senegalese. Since then, he began working on how to convince the teams to transfer him. Yes, he was telling those stories about George Weah then. Former Finpa teammate Kalle Lehtinen said, he presented himself as an acquaintance of the famous Weah, a legend of the African football. In the year that Ali Dia played in Finland, Weah won the Ballon d'Or and the FIFA Player of the Year award. Given the fact that it was quite difficult to check a player's CV in those days, Dia got away with the lie. Apparently, the Finnish club was so impressed by Ali that he became one of the best paid players in the team. The Finns gave him some chances and so he played in a few matches. According to a local newspaper, Dia was caught offside 10 times and spent most of the game ruining his own team's attacks. All that in a single match. When Ali arrived, he had something. With the outside of his right foot, he could go round a defender. Former teammate Simo Valakari told Bleacher Report. But that was all he had. After the first 2 weeks, bam, it was gone. Maybe it was the parties or something, but then he looked like he had never played football at all. In the summer of that year, the manager of the Finnish team was in the position that he had only 13 players in one of the trainings. Their coach reported, "One wonders where is French striker Ali Dia?" Once again, the Senegalese had completely disappeared. He managed to quickly reorient himself and sign with a Finnish second league team, PK 35. Here, for the first time in his career, he scored a goal in the official matches. After only 3 games for this team, he left again. This time, Ali wanted to completely change the landscape and tried his luck in Germany. Lübeck, a second league team, accepted him. It was the third team for which he evolved in 1995. The story repeated again and our charlatan vanished after only 2 matches. The chance to fool bigger and bigger teams seemed to make him bolder. Thus, he tried his luck in the country where modern football is supposed to have started, England. He kept trying to do trials for different teams, but he only managed to fool a team called Blyth Spartans, for which he played in a single match on November 9, 1996. This was not the goal of the Senegalese, to play for some amateurs from the lower leagues, but to play in the big league, in the Premier League. Again, Ali Dia put his talent as a scammer to work. Somehow, he managed to fool Southampton that he is the cousin of the famous Wah, that he played for Paris Saint-Germain and for the Senegal national team. Of course, he didn't just say he played, but he also scored. After all, he was a striker.
He played with George Weah at Paris Saint-Germain, and last year he was playing in the second division in Germany. And we said come down and train with us for a week or so and see what's what. So we're looking.
After Dia was accepted by Southampton, he appeared for the training sessions. So, within the first 5 minutes on a Monday morning, we said he wasn't for us. He was hopeless. But we didn't have enough players to have an 8 aside, so we kept him for a week, and as the week went on, we had more and more players that got injured. We were playing Leeds United on the Saturday, and Matt was our only fit forward. Southampton's manager Graham Souness said in a 2020 interview for Sky Sports. Before the match against Leeds, Terry Cooper, Southampton's chief European scout, has told me in the week, "You're going to have that fool on the bench," as we didn't have any other striker. So we ended up putting him on the bench, and the worst case scenario would be that he would come on, run around and be a pest, said Souness in the same interview. Now we will talk about the most important match in the scammer's career. November 23rd, 1996 is the day. The match between Southampton and Leeds United starts. After only 32 minutes, Southampton's legend Matt Le Tissier gets injured. The player wearing the number 33 on the shirt is preparing to enter the field. Yes, Ali Dia enters the field. His dream of playing in the Premier League came true, but for the Southampton coach everything seemed like a nightmare. He was everywhere the ball had just been. It was as if he'd never been on a football pitch before, Souness said in the interview for Sky Sports. In his autobiography, Le Tissier described those moments as, "It was unbelievable. He ran around the pitch like Bambi on ice. He was so embarrassing that he was substituted in the 85th minute by a defender. Any player was better than him. The coach knew he was a bad player, but he didn't think he was that bad. He turned up the next morning for treatment on an injury, the physio was telling me. Sunday morning he turns up, has a bit of treatment, he leaves, and then we never see him again. He never came back. He just left. Nobody knows where he went. Never to be seen again," admitted Le Tissier. Just 14 days after arriving, Dia was gone. His 1-month contract at Southampton had been terminated midway through. Do you think this experience made him stop? No way. The story continued. Just a few months later, in December 1996, Dia signed a new contract with Gateshead. They were playing in the lowest division of the England. Surprisingly, at his debut for them, he scored a goal and apparently he played quite well. Just a day later, the Sunday Mirror exposed Dia's long con and described exactly how he was trying to pretend to be Wes' cousin, but also his CV, where he was supposed to have played for Bologna, Paris Saint-Germain or Senegal, was a huge lie. Ali Dia defended himself in an interview for The Post, saying that all these are false allegations and that he just scored for Senegal in a victory against Guinea in the World Cup. Of course, that was a lie too. Senegal did not even play with Guinea at that time. Dia also said, "I have been portrayed as a con man and a poor player, but I am neither and intend to prove people wrong. Obviously, I'm disappointed not to have made it in the Premiership, but I've got faith in my own ability and my only concern now is Gateshead. My contract is just until the end of the season, but if things go well, who knows, I could stay longer."
He told me that George ring him and said that I'm a good player. I'm not afraid to tell that I'm a good player. I can prove that. I'm going to prove that.
So George Weah did ring Graham Souness?
Personally, like I told you, I don't really know.
Somehow, the management of Gateshead believed him and played in 8 matches for them, scoring 2 goals. This was the best campaign of the Senegalese for a team. At the end of that season, Dia went in search for another team. Since then, he is supposed to have played at least for 1 amateur team, and then he stopped fooling the football clubs. In recent years, after his story appeared in more and more publications, many people wanted to interview him but could not be found. The only things that have been discovered about him are that he started educating himself. He studied business at Northumbria University in Newcastle, graduating in 2001. Also, he received a Master of Business Administration from San Francisco State University in 2003. At the moment, he is mentioned in all the tops as the worst player who played in the Premier League and most likely in Europe. This is Ali Dia. At a time when no one knew about fake it till you make it, he turned it into reality. If you want to help the channel grow, any kind of engagement helps me. All are free, including like, comment, subscribe or share. See ya!